You're here, I'm queer, and welcome back to my channel. For this video, we will be creating the iconic Lizzo in her new music video, Rumors, also known as her Hercules live-action audition tape. This song has been stuck in my mind for a while, and I keep playing it alongside the Hercules soundtracks. It's just all too good and, satisfying to look at. I really enjoy the looks in this music video, and I wanted to recreate the last look with her really long hair and the nude illusion fantasy. This look is just too good and dramatic, although I really do like the gold dress that she was wearing in the beginning as well. I know that she's not literally naked, but the nude illusion of the bodysuit made me want to translate it as her actual body and try to give her a realistic body shape. I referenced a lot of her bikini photos to get an idea, and I think it will translate beautifully. Let's take a short intermission to thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. I've actually tried HelloFresh at the start of this year, so I'm really grateful that they have partnered up with me for this video. HelloFresh makes cooking at home fun, easy, and affordable. They provide seasonal recipes including fresh and pre-measured ingredients straight to your door. No need to haul yourself to the grocery stores and stress over measurements. HelloFresh is here to make eating better, easier, and less stressful. I feel like I know what I'm doing in the kitchen because of them. They have helped me so much since I am in a constant fitness journey, and eating clean remains paramount. They make eating healthy easier with their low-cal, carb-smart, vegetarian, and pescatarian options, and every recipe includes fresh produce sourced directly from farmers. Did you guys know that an average trip to the grocery store takes 41 minutes? With HelloFresh, you can skip those trips and even save 28% off of your regular grocery shopping. I tend to have trouble measuring the ingredients, so having them send pre-portioned ingredients have saved me so much time and effort. They're also very flexible to fit your lifestyle. You can choose what days and how often you want your food delivered. You can even skip a week if needed, which I actually did once because I ordered a portion for 4 people and there's only one of me, so leftovers galore. HelloFresh is also committed to giving back, and they have donated 4 million meals to charity in 2020, and they're also continuing these donations amid the coronavirus today. I'm usually a really picky eater, so I really like how HelloFresh has made me eat more vegetables. Like this chicken penne actually has zucchini, and it complements and balances out the dish so beautifully. Go to HelloFresh.com and use my code HEXTIAN14 to get 14 free meals including shipping. Again, that is HelloFresh.com with the code HEXTIAN14 to get 14 free meals including free shipping. So for our doll, I will be using this Barbie Fashionista, as you can see. This is actually one of my Monica Rambeau potentials. I thought I was gonna be using this, but alas, we used a different one. And for Lizzo, I will be using this as the base. I mean, look at her. She is gorgeous. Look at that hair, look at that face, look at that face. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and get started with our canvas. And first, I'm gonna go ahead and remove her hair. Obviously, because Lizzo has long hair, so we're gonna give her a wig for that one. So yeah. And of course, like always, I will be using pure acetone to remove the factory paint of the doll. You may also use nail polish remover if it has acetone in it. And as you can see, these new fashionistas, they're pretty hard to scrape off. I don't know what they're doing with the factory paint, but they're catching up to us. So I have to literally scrape off the factory paint with the acetone. So it's a combo. And now we have our face pretty clear, but as you can see, you can kind of see the scratch marks, but it's fine, nothing to worry about. I already made her a wig cap over here, as you can see, perfect fit, and I'm gonna paint it so that it's a little bit more incognito with our hair. And for her wig, I will be using yarn, of course, and this is just pure black acrylic yarn. At this point, it doesn't really matter if it's acrylic or not, but it matters because it's going to be really, really long, so I was like, yarn it is. And you guys know that I love using yarn. And for this one, I am going to unravel it. So each yarn has 4 strands in it. So I'm unraveling it to get 2 strands and also 1 strand. I feel like having the combination of the 2 strand and 1 strand gives the hair a little bit more dimension. So it's not just uniform look, you know what I mean? And this one is really long. This is longer than 12 inches. Obviously, if you're trying to recreate this, you can go even longer. I went a little longer because, you know, we want to be dramatic here. So here we are. Look at that. Beautiful. And now let's go ahead and start gluing it onto the wig cap. And of course, I'm just using hot glue for this one. And you want to start in the very bottom, kind of by the nape of the neck. And you just want to work your way up. And because she kind of has a bun or a bump it type of look on top, I'm using this styro egg just to give more of a volume and dimension. So it's kind of, you know, we're kind of faking the bun. And again, let's go back to gluing more hair strands here and there. You know, let's just cover everything up. I didn't really get a clear picture of what her hair looked without her crown. So I'm just kind of making it up and, you know, I'm just braiding it up to the bun. So as you can see over here, I'm braiding the whole thing and I'm gonna wrap it around the ball or the egg. And over here, she kind of had some intricate design, kind of like swirls shapes. And so I was like, let's just try and translate that as well. Actually, not swirls, but like more like spirals, you know? And of course, we're gonna put the tendrils that she has framing her face. And so this is the finished wig. As you can see, it's so long, it's so beautiful, it's so dramatic, and surprisingly, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hard to do, so I actually quite enjoyed the process. Now let's go ahead and move on to the body for now. This one will have a lot of modifications, so let's get ready. As you can see, Barbie fashionistas nowadays are just straight, like they don't have movement to their poses. They're literally just like, they're just there. They're like robots. They're like zombies. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off her limbs. So the elbow, the wrist, the knees, and also the ankles. So that actually, and also the torso, her waist, we're gonna cut all of that and we're gonna put it together and we're gonna pose her a little bit different. So I've done this before. I like doing these on Barbie fashionistas to give them a little bit more movement. Here we have all of it laid out and we're gonna put it back together with some wire and some foam. Over here I'm just stuffing up her body just so that we can actually put the wire in there. So yeah. And I cut off her waist just because I kind of want to angle it a little bit more to the side. You know, because the Barbie's torso is just literally straight. Like there's no curve in it, there's no shape that she's doing, there's no lines that's being made. So over here, I'm just kind of playing around with how she looks. And again, I'm just taking some wire, and for this one, you don't necessarily have to glue it. I just like gluing it for the security, so I don't want it to kind of fall apart. And for the glue, I'm just using the 2-part plastic glue that you can get from any hardware store just to be safe, like I said, but you don't really have to do it if you're gonna make like subtle poses here and there, which is honestly what I did. So yeah. And now we're just putting it back together and look at that, like she is able to do some movements, you know what I mean? I wish this is how the Barbie is. And now that it's all connected again, I'm just doing some subtle poses here and there, just playing around with it to see what I like. I had a few references that I wanted to do, like the pointing finger that she did with Cardi B in the end. I kind of wanted to do that, but then I was like, it's not gonna be universal, and it's gonna be a locked-in static pose. So I want it to be universal and you know, it will work with a lot of things. And so I thought maybe giving her like the Venus pose would kind of work in some way. So I think that's what we're gonna do. And over here, I just put some hot glue to the joints just so that they're a little bit more static. Obviously, they're not gonna be fixed and permanent, but when you're sculpting, you want it to not move. So I'm gonna take my epoxy sculpt over here. It is a 2-part epoxy clay, and we're just gonna mix it together. And this one is an air dry clay. It is an industrial clay, so make sure you have gloves on. And I'm just gonna go ahead and try and give her Lizzo's body. For this one, you definitely want to work a little bit more minimal because it's easier to add than to take away. I definitely do not like sanding and trying to chip off clay pieces, so make sure if you're that type of person like me, make sure you're working in smaller chunks of clay, just so that you don't go overboard. Like I said, I was looking at Lizzo's bikini photos from different angles. For the most part, I was looking at it when she's just standing because clearly the pose is just her standing, not really doing any dynamic poses. So I was referencing those when she's just standing on the beach, from the side, from the back, from the front. You know, try to get as much angles when you're trying to do an actual body of someone, just because you want it to be as realistic as possible. And for this one, I really wanted to pay homage to that and try to recreate it. Sculpting this was actually kind of cathartic. Like when I was sculpting her body, I felt like an actual like Renaissance person, like a Renaissance artiste, because most Grecian statues, they have a lot of curves, they have a lot of like volume, and they're so romantic looking and they're so soft. And I think that was the main goal during the Renaissance time, is to make stone and marble look as soft as possible, very smooth. And yeah, I was just kind of getting those vibes. I was like, oh, am I a Renaissance? Am I a Leonardo da Vinci? And now I'm done with sculpting her body, as you can see over here. We definitely do need to sand it just to give that smooth finish. But it looks really good. I gave her calves, of course. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this to the water and give her some sanding. And over here, I'm just using a mixture of 400 grit to 2000 grit. And you just want it to kind of build up and make it as smooth as possible. Obviously, it's not completely smooth, but it does look really satisfying to look at. I mean, look at that. You know, oh my god, and it's very smooth to the touch though, so I was actually kind of obsessed with that. And now let's go ahead and paint her, and the main goal is to match it with the Barbie head, because I think that is pretty close to Lizzo's actual skin tone. And for this one, I was spraying it in between layers with Mr. Super Clear so that you can lock it in. And I think for the skin by itself, I did maybe a maximum of 5 layers. And look at that. I mean, that's pretty satisfying to look at, I think. I love the tone of the color. It's perfectly warm. It's not too cool tone. And yeah, I'm obsessed. Of course, we're gonna do some blushing, contouring, and shadowing to the body. So we can go ahead and do that now because this has already been sprayed with Mr. Super Clear. If you guys are new to my channel, I have a slight obsession with body blushing. It's an obsession. I just love body blushing. I just love it. I can get carried away for sure, yes, but I love blushing the knees, you know, the elbows, the fingers, all of that. It's giving very like BJD. It's giving very like sculpture. So I don't know, I love it. And over here I am contouring and putting some shadows all over her body, really. You want to make up those shadows so that the skin tone doesn't look too flat. And if you want to fake some shadows here and there, that can also be done with contouring. And overall, it just gives the skin a little bit more dimension, and it actually highlights and contours the sculpt. And look at that, I mean, wow. I mean, I'm obsessed. The body blushing is everything for me. I love it. The contouring, the shadowing is everything. Again, for me, I love it. Look at her calves. I contoured those calves. Look at that. I mean, it's there, but I also contoured it. So, I mean, you look at that. It's great. And now we can move on to the design of her bodysuit. Well, in this case, it's actually going to be tattoos. So I will be drawing like the designs on her actual body. And I think in my mind, I thought that was such a cool idea because obviously she is naked. And the illusion in the music video is that she is supposed to be naked, in my mind at least. Like I said, this is just how I perceived her look in the music video. So I was like, oh my god, it would look really cool if the design on her bodysuit was an actual tattoo on her skin. And I was obsessed. And for this one, I'm just using my regular watercolor pencils. I feel like it's easier for me to draw these organic designs, and it's a little bit more detailed that I can get. If you guys have seen the music video for Rumors, oh my gosh, like I suggest you look around the environment in the background because there's so many like symbolisms in the vases or vases of like the paintings and the cartoons. They're all so great, and I'm like, oh my god, look at the innuendos, and I was like, oh my god, the symbolism is everything, you know what I mean? And it's just fun to look at. I like dissecting like what's going on in the background and all of that. It's just kind of fun. And for these tattoos, I actually only did it with one layer of the pencil, and then I'm gonna go over it with paint. And for this one, I'm using white gouache paint, and then for the gold, I'm just using acrylic metallic gold. And I thought that going at it with paint is just gonna be a little bit more smoother and cleaner and a little bit more fine. My hands are a bit shaky, so doing this, like if I was to freehand this, it would have been a messy situation. So sketching it out with the watercolor pencil was paramount. I think it's been confirmed that the live-action Hercules is in the works, so a lot of people are fan casting and everything. So who do you guys think will be the muses? Who do you guys think will be Hercules? Who do you guys think will be Megara? For me, my personal Megara, I know everyone's saying Ariana Grande. Honestly, they're just saying it because of the freaking ponytail, but for me, it's Liz Gillies. I think she has the perfect attitude, she has the perfect look, like she has the RBF look, which is perfect for Megara. Other than that, the muses are so important to the story too because they're the narrators. A lot of people are also fan casting Lizzo as one of the muses, and I have to agree, like, she has to be one of them. And yeah, I can't wait. If they are in the works, I hope that they do the songs justice because the Hercules soundtrack is so good. And there you have it. As you can see, only one layer of paint and it is completely opaque and beautiful. I have sprayed this with Mr. Super Clear. That's why the gold aren't as metallic looking, but I'll go over it again later on before we actually finish. But I mean, look at that. The whites are so satisfying to look at because they're so opaque. And because her bodysuit actually had a shimmer, a gold shimmer onto it, you guys know what's coming. I'm gonna be using my resin metallic pigment powders, and we're gonna highlight her body. And I believe I layered this 3 times. I did go overboard on that one, on that swab, but it's gonna fade in a while, you know what I mean? After you spray it with Mr. Super Clear, it actually dies down, so you have to layer it and layer it and layer it. And as you can see, oh my god, the gold shimmer is everything. I'm like obsessed with it. As you can see, it did settle up, so it's really nice because it just shifts the gold tone. from all over her body, and it just, I don't know, I love it, and I love it. Let's take a break from her body, let's wrap it up, protect it, and let's attach her head back so we can actually work on her face. Of course, this has also been sprayed with Mr. Super Clear so we can actually draw on it with our watercolor pencils, pastels, and all of that. And for her makeup over here, she had a really interesting makeup because her eyebrows were kind of scratched up. And she had a subtle smoky eye, which I kind of made it a little bit more drastic, just to give it more dimension. And yeah, that was pretty much her entire makeup. She didn't really have anything graphic going on except for her eyebrows. The makeup that she had for the first look, when she has the gold dress, that one was a little bit more of a graphic eyeliner. I believe it was like a gold eyeliner. So for this one, at least from the music video, from the pictures that I have gathered, it was just a smoky eye, and then she had the scratched up eyebrow look, which I thought was really cool and interesting. Her lips for this one was giving me different hues, because in some pictures they look red, in some pictures they look gold, so I was like, I don't know what to do, we'll just go for a red, like a realistic tone of red, so yeah. And of course, let's go ahead and give her some contouring and blushing. You guys know, the obsession will continue for the face with the contouring and the blushing. Over here, I am just highlighting her brow bone, just so that her eyebrows are actually a little bit more graphic and they actually pop out. When it comes to quote-unquote realistic repaints, I try not to do an acrylic paint for the whites of the eyes, just because those can make it more cartoony looking, so I try to stick with just pencils. Her bottom lashes for this one was actually pretty dramatic and long, so I'm just trying to recreate that as well. And of course, let's not forget the catch lights for her eyes, and for that one I was using paint. And you guys know it was coming, of course, the gold highlight will continue for the head as well. You can't skip that, you know what I mean? And for this one I was going extremely heavy-handed. Now let's go ahead and give her some lashes to balance out her bottom lashes. And for this one I'm using human fake individual lashes. And of course, let's go ahead and gloss up her lips. And we are pretty much done with her face. I wouldn't say this is a copycat of Lizzo, because I don't think so, but the makeup style is what she had on, at least from the pictures that I've gathered, like I said. So yeah, I changed her lips so that it's not the half-open, showing teeth look that I usually like to do. I feel like the closed lip actually looks better. So yeah, I mean, look at that. Oh my god, the gold looks so cool. Now let's go ahead and give her some sandals. I know we're going up and down, jumping all over the place, but that is kind of how I worked on this doll. So over here, I'm just tracing her foot over to a piece of paper, and I'm gonna transfer that onto our Warbler. If you are familiar with Warbler, it is a cosplay staple material that I actually use for doll customizations. I'm actually layering 3 of these just because it's a little bit thicker and it's a little better in my opinion. So yeah, I'm just gonna glue this with the same exact plastic glue that I used from the hardware store. And these ones are actually heat activated. You can mold them and sculpt them a little bit. So over here, I'm just taking my heat gun so we can mold it to her foot. As you can see, it becomes really flexible and bendable and all that, so yeah. And of course, we have to paint it gold to match everything. And for the straps of the sandal, I am going a little extra with this one. I know hers stops at the ankle, but I thought, why not make it a calf length? So that's what I did. And over here, I'm just using these gold elastic thread that I got from Michaels. And now let's go ahead and glue the sole onto her foot. I decided to cover the sole as well with the same exact ribbon. I thought that was actually a great matching opportunity. And now we are working on some glitter. As you can see over here, I have a crystal glitter. This is white. Well, actually, it's transparent, but it looks white. I also got some Swarovski crystals, and oh my gosh, these are expensive. $5 per pack, as you can see, and these are not a lot. And these are the only ones they had, so I definitely have to save these and use them appropriately. I'm also using gold glitter, just in case we actually run out of the crystals. I started with the crystal glitter first, the transparent one, and I'm just gonna glue that all over her body so that it is completely covered. And for the glue, I'm just using glossy Mod Podge. And this one was cool because it kind of made her look like wet, like her body is like glistening in the sun. So I really liked this type of crystal because it's transparent, but it gives you the reflective effect when it hits the light. The only thing with Mod Podge, you do have to wait a little while for it to become transparent. So at first, these are gonna look like just white spots, but overnight, it will blend in, you know, with the skin. Of course, you can't forget underneath the straps of the sandal, you know, you can't skip those. And now let's go ahead and move with the crystals. And like I said, I had to use this appropriately and I had to spread it out because I only had 5 packs of those small packs. And I was like, okay, I need to spread it out first. And then if I have extra, I will, you know, use it again. For the most part, I used most of it in the front because that is the main focal point. And now I am using the gold glitter, and this is the same exact size as the crystal glitter that I was using first. And I thought this was just a cool way to give some dimension with all of the crystals so that they're not completely uniform. I like how she has 3 different kinds of glistening and glitter all over her body. And as you can see, I ignored her right arm because that is going to be covered in sleeves anyway. I was like, I'm not going to use any of the Swarovski on her right arm because that is a waste. So yeah, but it looks really cool. I like how you can see it between her sandal straps as well. I thought that was pretty satisfying to look at. And oh my god. And this looks really cool in like direct lighting. It's so nice. Let's go ahead and let that dry first, and let's go back to her head, her crown. Again, we're jumping all over the place, forgive me. But yes, I will be making her headdress, her crown, and I'm just tracing the piece with paper over here so I can get a basic shape. And I am tracing that onto Warbler as well. That will be the base for our crown. I'm heating it up with our heat gun again so that we can mold it onto her head. And for the size of her crown, she had this ornate metal piece, and I thought, why not use a bracelet for it? I got these bracelets from a beauty supply store actually. There were $5 for all of them, so I was like, okay, I can kind of go crazy with these and see if they'll work. And they're actually surprisingly malleable. As you can see over here, it doesn't really break. However, it can snap, so you have to make sure that you're being gentle with it because it can snap really fast. So over here I am just cutting it up and I'm going to bend it as slow as possible. These actually gave me 2 different looks because I think it is supposed to be a snake, but it kind of looks like an elephant ears as well, so I thought that was really cool. Now let's go ahead and put on the crown just so that we can see where we want this to be. And I think that would be good because it's a little lower than her bun. So yeah, it frames the face perfectly. Of course, her crown is gold, so let's go ahead and paint it. Over here, I'm just using some hair accessories. This is a filigree tube, and I got this from the beauty supply store as well for $2. And I will be using this for the crown and for jewelry and everything. So over here I'm just bending it up, and this will be kind of like the base design for her crown, because her crown is pretty elaborate and I couldn't really get a picture, like a clear picture, so I'm just kind of making it up. Over here I have this gem, and it's actually gold in the back, so I was like, okay, that would be a perfect central piece. And then for the rest, I'm just adding some feathers around her crown. And these ones are actually nail charms, so if you buy those, they're perfect for doll accessories or just doll things, you know? This part actually had this type of look, so I was like, oh, maybe it is a snake. It's like a serpent. And of course she has pearls as well, so you can never get enough of pearls. You guys know me, I love pearls. Here I'm just adding more accessories just to make the crown look really busy. And over here, I'm adding some jewelry studs. This is actually for earrings, I believe. And I'm using that for the back of her crown, just to add a little bit more detail in the back. And here we have the finished crown. As you can see, I think it looks really, really cool, and it's very detailed. Obviously, like I said, I just made it up. I don't know if this is how her crown looks because it's so hard to find a detailed photo. But for the most part, you know, it's similar. For her clothes, I have this fabric over here that has a shift of gold and silver, and I thought it was perfect for the fabrics that she was using. Especially for doll scale, it's pretty hard to find really drapey fabric that will drape like how it would on a human, so I had to really think about this one. That's actually the only thing I'm gonna show you because the rest I did behind the scenes. I was trying to make it up. I was trying to like, it was a whole mess. It was fun, but it was a mess. And I was just trying to make things up. I was like, how do I drape this? How do I make this look like how she was wearing it? So yeah, the fabric that she was wearing, it was supposed to be draped and it's supposed to be hiding like certain things, obviously. Because there is the nude illusion. So for this one, I was just doing it behind the scenes. I was just trying to make it up. So yeah, I did push a little extra for these. Like I made them a little longer. I gave her a train in the back. You know how I do. I mean, if the hair is gonna be extra longer, I want the clothes to be a little longer too, you know? So that's what happened. Now let's go ahead and put her hair and like do some final stylings. I mean, look at that hair. Look at this hair. It is super long and it fits so well. I'm just using some Barbie earrings over here, classic Barbie earrings, and it actually fits the look really, really well. Again, with the filigree tube, I'm using that as a bracelet. And of course, she has really long nails for this look, so I'm just using hot glue for that one. And the manicure color, I believe, was white and it had gold tips onto it, so I'm just trying to recreate that as well. Again, I'm using nail charms over here as her jewelry. we're done.